You know what? I decided to be cool, I guess. I'm always cool, so whatever. But I decided to do something nice. So many of you guys submitted questions. I decided to break up the Facebook Friday Q&A into 2 parts. That way more of you guys get your questions answered. You take the effort to ask me the question. I try to answer as many of them as I can. So let's go with part 2. David Hadley asks, would you like to see WWE go with Dolph Ziggler as a Royal Rumble winner than Reigns? Reigns still has plenty of time to develop, but the fans are ready for Ziggler now. No. I'm going to tell you why. Now, based off of where they booked Dolph Ziggler at Survivor Series, a logical step in the progression would be to have him win the Royal Rumble. But then again, if you sit there and do that, who are you going to send him at WrestleMania? You're not going to have Dolph Ziggler beat Brock for the fucking title, and you're probably not going to have Ziggler beat Cena for the title, especially if you're trying to do that face versus face. It's just, there's a lot of dynamics you have to think out there, and that's why I still find it questionable why they decided to make it Ziggler of all people. Now, with that said, if you're going to go there, then you have to ask yourself the following questions. Is Dolph Ziggler really, truly a top guy? Can he be a guy that can help truly carry the company? Not just because you like him, but you have to expand and think about these things on a broader scale and on bigger horizons. Is he actually a guy that's going to be able to move merchandise? Is he a guy that's going to put some asses in the seats? Is he going to be a guy that puts some eyeballs on the TV? And more so than with CM Punk or Daniel Bryan, let's say guys like that, where you can see that, I don't think they've done enough to develop Ziggler's character or personality, or he's done enough to show that he could be that type of guy. So no, me personally, I'm not having Ziggler win the Royal Rumble. At this point, would I entertain the thought of perhaps calling an audible and not having Reigns win the Rumble and maybe do somebody like an Ambrose? Perhaps. Perhaps. But I'm not going with Ziggler. There's just no fucking way. Just no fucking way. I mean, it just, no. Not happening with me. Not at this point. Not the way things were done. If I was going to get in a position where I wanted Ziggler to win the Rumble, I would try and devote an entire year to actually kind of building him up, developing a character, getting him a chance to really get over, not just because the fans kind of want to rebel and therefore he gets over, but really get him over in a quality way with many segments of my audience. And then at that point in time, I would consider having him win the Royal Rumble. Ishmael Tarwali. Survivor Series elimination match. The Click or the Breakfast Club? Hogan would be the guest referee, and Hogan would refuse to put over any of them? That's the answer I'll go with. Stephen Bradley, would you rather see Jay Cutler win a Super Bowl or Jeff Jarrett leave wrestling or Michael Jordan return as the Bulls GM? Jeff Jarrett leave wrestling. He kind of already has, because I don't know if you count Global Force as being anything worth a shit. James Forkham, if Roman Reigns wins the Royal Rumble, could you see him getting the Batista treatment? To a degree, perhaps. I mean, I really hope that's not what happens. Although I get the feeling that some fans will be so bratty and so petulant that that would be exactly what the fuck would happen. It'd be a real shame. It's Reigns needs work. I'll agree, and him being gone doesn't help. And I'm not sure he's necessarily at this moment, the way things stand, the best guy to have win the Rumble. But I'm not going to sit there and boo the piss out of him and give him the Batista treatment just if he wins a fucking Rumble. Because my guy Ziggler didn't win it. My guy Daniel Bryan wasn't in it. I mean, come on, man. I feel a little bit better than that. But I could. And that concerns me a little bit. Concerns me a great deal. They got to tread lightly with Reigns. Got to tread very lightly. One thing that could help is if they had Reigns lined up to beat Cena at Mania. Well, man, they can't just book Reigns as another Cena. Otherwise, you're back in the same fucking problem again. Brandon Joyner, your penis and balls are the WWE Tag Team Champions. What Diva Tag Team would you give a title shot to? Cameron Naomi, the Bella Twins, Layla and McCool, or Fabulous Moolah and Mae Young? Moolah and Mae Young, huh? Well, we drop out the Bella sluts. You should know me better than that. Could I mix and match here and do like Naomi and Layla? Oh. You know how some of you guys touch yourselves at the thought of Brie Bella kissing AJ because that's like CM Punk and Daniel Bryan locking lips. Yeah, Naomi and Layla, trying to like lesbian tag team my penis and balls for a tag title shot would be quite impressive. But in this case, keeping the teams together, I'd probably go Cameron and Naomi. Alex, any hosts, are you surprised at all to see all the questions regarding the CM Punk interview? No. What the fuck else did you expect to see? A lot of people like CM Punk. A lot of people miss CM Punk. A lot of people have been waiting a long time to hear from CM Punk. We have now heard what he said, so I'm not surprised. Surprised there weren't more questions. Luke Wood Stanley, what role does Triple H's nose play in his and Stephanie's sinister sex games? It probably serves as a good buffer when he's trying to eat that puss from behind. Gives him plenty of space, or it lets him sniff out the butthole smelling in case he wants to penetrate it later, because we've all heard that God loves to go in the dark regions. It's where he plays the game mug, which means she's going to get it in the butt. Yeah. Probably make it hard for him to eat puss from the front though, because that nose. And I'm one to talk. I got a honker too, but that dude's got a honker. That's gonna make it challenging. He's got to have an incredibly long, skilled tongue in order to get it done. Let's see here. Jared Anthony Simmons, do you think the NWO would have been as successful as they are now if Sting was the leader as they originally planned to do? I don't know, man. I always think that would have been a hard sell. Could it have worked? In theory, yes. But I think it works so much better with it being Hogan. I really do. Hogan was the guy. Hogan was the choice. Maybe Sting could have worked, but it had to be Hogan. I think it had to be Hogan. Phil Shabert. Who will Brock Lesnar eventually lose the title to? Frankly, I don't give a fuck at this point, but if I had to guess, Cena. What a stupid title reign this has been. It's one thing to sit there and try and make it a special attraction, but as I referenced before, and I was right, he's no attraction at all now, and it's stupid to not have the champion appear for 3 months. You can sit there and say, well, big deal, big deal. Yeah, except you see how bad the product is, and not having the champion there is a part of that. It's not the only part of that, but it is a part of that. And it's fucking ridiculous. 3 months, no champion. Give me a fucking break. I mean, it's stupid. Really, truly is. I don't see what the company thought they accomplished by making Lesnar the champion. It was just a complete and total disaster, in my opinion. Austin Hazleton, given everything Punk said about WWE, do you agree with what he did, and do you think he owes us fans anything? Again, you have to tune into my video about it and find out. Thomas Kokai, do you think Rusev should change the United States Championship belt into the Russian Championship belt? Be the champion of WrestleMania 31, then somebody could beat him at WrestleMania to change it back. I think it would help him to get more heat with the USA fans, and the title could be a little more relevant. What do you think, and who should be the one? Oh, I'd make it Ryback. I've said that on numerous occasions, I believe, and how I would do it with Ryback. To me, if it was going to have the United States champion, I think he should just have a big picture of Vladimir Putin in the middle of the belt. That'd fucking rock. Only bad thing is, though, you build up Putin so damn much, we'd be disappointed if we didn't see Putin at some point. Problem with WWE is Vince, in some ways, has turned Vladimir Putin into a babyface. Believe it or not. It's true. It's true. Irving Griffin Jr., if you could put anyone in the place of Nancy and especially Daniel Benoit that horrible weekend to take out by Chris, who would it be? Wouldn't like to advocate murder of anybody. But with that said, probably rock and roll Buck Zumoff, since he liked to molest his daughter for many years. That'd probably be one. And then, oh, Christ. Who else? Who else? Yeah, I'd go with that one for sure. Oh, What the hell was his name? Was it Jose Gonzalez, the one that murdered Bruiser Brody? Yeah, he'd probably be the second one. Thank you. Took me a second. Ashwin Ash. More CM Punk questions. Okay, you guys, you see a few CM Punk questions. You have to assume at some point in time I'm going to address it. Again, stay tuned for the video on that. Nick Anderson, do Cody Rhodes and Goldust remind you of their dad in any way? A little bit. I mean, they both get it. They both have that it factor in terms of being able to connect with an audience. So that much is true. Thomas Adams. Nope. Yeah, I'm going to have to answer that question. Robin Williams versus Chris Benoit in a rope match. Who wins? He was supposed to tap. Anywho's. Okie dokie. Let's see here. Mean Matt Messerkevich. Which one of these wrestlers do you think should have won the WWFE title? Jake Roberts, Bossman, Piper, Val Venus, British Bulldog, or Owen Hart? Three that stand out to me: Piper, Owen, for sure Owen. And then maybe Bulldog during the mid-90s. I think it would have worked. You know, if he's there and everything else. I think you could have had Bulldog have a run at that point. So, yeah, I would say those three. Maybe you could maybe argue Jake, but I don't know if he was ever a world title guy. I think you could have made the argument that Piper could have been a world title guy. I definitely think during the mid-90s you could have made the argument for Owen Hart, to a lesser degree, the British Bulldog to be those type of guys. Let's see here. And then we've got Jose Gonzalez. Who would you book in a baby oil on a pole match with Randy Orton? Bunch of Cena's fat girls. Let's see here. Lance Clearman, I guess non-wrestling question, whatever. Since you don't like Peyton Manning, what are your thoughts on his brother Eli Manning? Well, let's pump the brakes here for a second. Just because I say some of the things I say about Peyton, and just because I call out some of the bias and bullshit from the media when it comes to Peyton Manning, and I point out some of the clearly evident truths about Peyton Manning, does not mean I totally dislike the guy or hate the guy. There's times where Peyton Manning is a tremendous joy to watch. I mean, it's like watching a maestro during the regular season. It is. But what I say about him in big spots and big moments, especially in playoff games over the years, I stand behind that because it's true. Doesn't mean I hate the guy. I'm speaking the truth. As far as Eli, he got 2 rings to his brother's 1. He's always kind of had that dopey face. I was never really a huge Eli fan, even going back to Ole Miss. I just never thought he was the #1 quarterback in that 04 class. I was on the thought process that Rivers was the most pro-ready right away and that Big Ben was going to be the best guy long-term. And ultimately, you know, you could debate about what is true and what wasn't about those statements. But I always thought Eli was overrated going back to Ole Miss his last year in 03. I'm like, there's no way that any talent evaluator can look at this guy on film, other than the fact that his last name is spelled Manning, and tell me that he is a better NFL quarterback talent than Rivers and or Roethlisberger. Just no fucking way. No fucking way whatsoever. And I stand behind that. And if you watched back then, I think you would agree with me on that. Donnie A. Todd, can you see the Chicago Bulls in the NBA Finals this season? Well, much more likely to see it since they don't have Carmelo Anthony. You're welcome. All depends on Derrick Rose, man. It's that simple. If Derrick Rose wants to be Derrick Rose and be healthy and be that force, then they can. If not, they'll be bounced from the playoffs early, period. Any other questions that I can answer in this short time? Probably not. Steven Grabovic, one last one. After Walter Payton's retirement, do you think Neil Anderson was perhaps an underrated running back? Well, I think he's very underrated. Very, very underrated. Bears leading rusher for 7 straight seasons, a few 1,000-yard seasons, a couple of Pro Bowls. Yeah, Neil Anderson was a very underrated running back. A very good running back. Very good football player. Just followed in the shadow of the greatest football player of all time, in my opinion. Greatest all-around running back of all time. It's a hard legacy to live up to, but Neil Anderson didn't exactly do a bad job. All right, thanks to all you guys that submitted your Q&A questions for the Facebook Friday Q&A. I'll be back Monday with more Q&As. CM Punk video coming up this weekend and some other stuff, so stay tuned.